So that magic box was all about who, right? So this guy on the spaceship wants to know who they are.
Who are you?
Exactly.
Okay, Roxy then says, I'm Roxy, and this is my brother, Shia. So they're introducing themselves. Now we have to figure out who this man is.
Yeah, but Shia's got a pretty good idea. He's going to make the guess that, and mention the guy you mentioned earlier. He says, are you Neil Armstrong?
He has a sharp eye.
Yeah, he must be thinking, if it's going to the moon or going up in space and maybe it doesn't look completely modern, he's like, well, who else could it be?
Well, we learned that it is Neil Armstrong because he replies, that's me. Welcome to Apollo 11. Now, the Apollo 11 is the name of a spacecraft, and this is the space ship that actually went on to the moon. And let's take a look later at what Roxy and Shia discover. I don't want to give everything away.
That's right, yeah. And so Roxy then kind of figures that out. Okay, hang on, if you're Neil Armstrong and this is the Apollo 11, that means we're going to the moon.
Wow.
Super excited. So this is the very first ever trip to the moon, which means that Shia can guess something else as well.
Exactly. He's actually a very smart person, and he says, so it's July 20th, 1969. This is so cool. So they're now back in the 1960s. Now, the 1960s was actually a really fun time as well, especially for the United States, and because they wanted to learn a lot about space. So we call that space technology. Space technology was getting better and better and better. So they were building more and more special vehicles, special spaceships, and the technology was getting better. People learned a lot more about space during that time.
Yeah, there was actually a race. The Americans and the Russians were both trying to be the first people to get up there and do stuff. Now, the Russians, as we said in our introduction, they got someone in space first. So America was like, well, that's it. We have to beat them now. We need to get to the moon first. So they sent up Armstrong, but he wasn't alone. He says to Roxy and Shia, Buzz Aldrin and I will go to the moon on Eagle soon. Do you want to come with us? Okay, so Buzz Aldrin, this is the second man to walk on the moon after Armstrong. He went out first, and it was these two. They took Eagle down onto the moon. So it's like an extra smaller ship inside Apollo 11. And there was a third man called Michael Collins. He stayed in Apollo 11 and kind of looked after that ship while Armstrong and Aldrin went down to the moon.
Right, you definitely need someone inside the spaceship as well to kind of just check everything is all right for you.
Exactly.
So that's super cool. Now, Shia says, can we really? I would love to.
Go to the moon?
Of course.
He's not, no, we'll just stay here and watch. He's not going to say that. And Roxy adds, that would be amazing. Okay, amazing means really great, really special, almost so good that you can't believe it.
And then Armstrong then says, sure, but you should put on these you should put on these spacesuits first. Okay, that is actually really important as well because you're out in outer space, you don't have any air, you are not protected, the sun is right there, it's very, very hot. So
cold, it's the cold temperature, but the sun radiation, that's going to burn you and make you freezing. It's like a double pain.
Exactly.
And you can't breathe.
So a lot of astronauts, they have to wear a special suit to protect them from these things. So again, it protects them from very, very hot and cold temperatures. And most importantly, it lets the astronauts breathe oxygen in space, which of course is really important for humans. We need oxygen to survive.
We do. So the kids have to put on ththese spacesuits.
Right, and put on is a power word. It's a phrase and it's spelled P-U-T, put, and we have a space here on, O-N, put on. Put on is a phrase and it means to wear something like clothing. So you can put on a hat, you could put on your jacket if it's cold outside, you could put on sunscreen to protect your skin from the sun, and you can even put on makeup. Let's take a look at our sample sentence. It says, put on your uniforms. It's time to go to school. Put on your uniforms. It's time to go to school.
Okay, so that's what they've got to do. They need to get ready, put on their spacesuits. So we see that Roxy and Shia get ready to land on the moon. Here, land, L-A-N-D, land, is being used as a verb, not a noun. It's our last word power word for today, so let's find out what land means and how we can use it. To land means to arrive somewhere in a plane, a boat, or something like that, including a spaceship. We can also use it if we jump up, we land. Here's an example sentence. The plane landed on time in Hong Kong. The plane landed on time in Hong Kong.
Wow, what a special opportunity for these two. It's amazing that they have this chance to now go on the moon with two of the coolest or three of the coolest people that we know on Earth. So yeah, I think that's actually really interesting.
It's super exciting, but we'll have to see what they actually do tomorrow because it's time right now for today's wrap-up.